Now, again, the United States is probably going to get involved in the Israel-Iran conflict. That's probably going to happen this weekend, likely when the stock market closes this weekend. If they don't, they're not ready, but they're going to do it. I think this whole diplomacy thing, Trump already said Iran had their chance and they didn't take the deal. Said he's interested in an unconditional surrender. This diplomacy thing is a ploy to confuse Iran. They're about to do it. They're underestimating Trump. Iran is underestimating Trump. They underestimated him during the negotiations. Now they're probably underestimating him again. These people with this taco smear are underestimating him. He's going to do it. It's going to happen. Now, Bitcoin's losing the 50-period moving average. It's trying to get a bearish reversal of conditions with futures. It already has it with the IBIT ETF. And right here, the support zone. You lose this area, the support zone. You take out this low right here. You take out this low over here, which we're trying to do right now. We bounced off the 50, got a lower high. Bounced off the 50, got another lower high. That's now the resistance zone. And I told you in the last couple of videos, as long as we don't push above that area, then again, the bears are in control. If we take out this level, we're going much lower. I've talked about the moving averages, the 200, the 100 period moving average near the 38.2 Fibonacci. We're probably going to take out the 100 period because Bitcoin follows the 100 period moving average, and you often pull back towards it, and some more often than not drop just below it and then rebound back above it. Just below it is our 50% retracement at 91,000. I think Bitcoin is likely going to move to the 87,000 to 93,000 area, the 93,000 area being in this range between the 38.2 and the 50% retracement for the upper end of the target. The 50% again at 91,000. The lower end of the target, the double bottom confirmation line at 88,500. The 78.6 Fibonacci, or the 61.8 Fibonacci at 87,000. So these are the levels for a deeper retracement. I think you come down here for a more mild retracement. I think you come in here towards the 100 period, just beyond it, likely into this area. Between the 38.2 Fibonacci, the 50% retracement, and again, the 91,000 area. So I think, again, we're likely going to see Bitcoin pull back to the 87,000 to 93,000 area. Again, the herd is attacking me for daring to say Bitcoin is going to go down, just like they always do, just like they attacked me when when they were bearish and said, "Oh, there's no hope. Alt season's canceled. It's over." And I told you that Bitcoin was bottoming and that we were going to bottom at 74,000, which I was correct. We bottomed at 74,000. I knew that because that was major support. Told you we were going to have a massive rally, go make new highs. I was correct. Finally, up here, as we were rallying up, the herd finally turned back to bullish. As we broke out of the double bottom, we broke out of the trend line. The herd still believing the bears. Oh, it's a bear market. It's a bear market rally. Started pushing higher right here. Then they started turning bullish, and then we broke above this high right here. The herd said it's a breakout. They weren't bullish down here when I called the bottom. They weren't bullish at this breakout. They weren't bullish at this breakout. But boy, they're bullish at a top. It might hit 114,000, but I also talked about that other trend line from the previous highs, excluding the shadows, at 111,000. We overthrew it and hit 112,000. I told you I've changed my mind with the lower high that I told you we had a shot at it still here, but now we're going sideways too much. And I told you as we were pulling back, but more likely now that we have peaked. And I told you right here with this lower high, before that rally and with that rally, as that rally, before it reached the highs as we were rallying, I told you using that rally to close my long position and go short my swing trade moves. That is the way I'm playing it. Not a recommendation for anybody to buy or sell anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Sideways and down. Again, we're taking out the 50-period moving average. So we're going to see, do we get that bigger pullback? My signals have been mixed because we're going sideways, but I have signals that are suggesting we're going to get a bigger pullback. So that's why I'm playing it. If we break above this level, then I'll be stopped out of my short. I'll reevaluate things. Is what I'm doing is I'm trying to ride the short down to these levels where I think we're going to get a higher low and a right shoulder. And then I'm going to try to flip the trade back to long. I'm still holding my long position. My longer term core position is still long. I'm ignoring these price fluctuations. Even though I believe the pullback's coming, I'm doing something different. I've separated my positions by accounts. And one, I'm just trying to swing trade the Elliott waves here, or the moves higher, as I've been talking about. Really sold into the rally here the day after, with the breakout, the day before the top, sold 75% of the position, bought the position back right here. We still had a shot at going, but then again, with this failed lower high that happened, again, out the entire position with the rally, as I told you. I thought we'd set up a lower high. That's now happening, and now I think we're going to take out the 50 and the support zone and get this bigger sell-off. And again, flipping the trade, closing the long, going short, and then I'll try to flip it back here. And again, I'm a trader. I trade things back and forth. I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes. I can make money either way. I trade it long, I trade it short. Saw a post today by one of the Moon Boys, up only, up only. They only believe Bitcoin goes up. Heard the Moon Boys. They never see tops, and then when we get these bottoms, they panic sell at the bottoms. It's crazy. That's what these people do. And I'm holding a longer term position, doing absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, in a separate account, I am short on Bitcoin and closing that short at some of these levels that I'm talking about, probably somewhere here just under the 100 period moving average or near it, to evaluate that if we do end up reaching that level. So this is what I think is happening. This is what I'm doing. Again, not a recommendation that anybody buy or sell anything. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. Signals all begin to turn back to bullish. I will turn back to bullish. Again, I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes, up or down. I believe it's going to pull back and get a bigger pullback for right shoulder and then go much, much higher. So I remain long-term bullish on Bitcoin, but believe that we are in the pullback, and it's likely already started. As I've said in my last couple of videos now, sideways move is taking too long. At that lower high, it's diverging with the stock market, and I've had signals triggered suggesting we're going to go lower. Remember I talked to you about this 13 count that's set up? We got it, some of them, this bar, some of the other ones was this big wide range bar on some of the exchanges. Different exchanges got it different days, but nevertheless, they all got it. And I talked about that, and that was based on the close above the 8 bar. But right now, here's the 50 period moving average. This is what I think is happening. I think we're likely pulling back, getting the right shoulder. We have this, inverse head and shoulders pattern. This thing measures to about the 155,000 area. Or pardon me, that was if we reached that target. We hit 112, so it's about the 150,000 area. I stand corrected. My previous calculation, but again, this pattern measures to the 150,000 area. That's the thing that people don't realize. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to pull back. I think after 50%, after I called the day of the bottom and predicting a rally to new highs and rising 50%, yeah, I think it's going to pull back. I told you when I was calling for that over here for a pullback, and over here I was telling you, even if we go hit this other trend line at 114,000, Bitcoin's still going to pull back. I have had person after person tell me, no, because again, it's a breakout, this dotted red line. That's what these people do. Buy tops, they pile in at tops, and they panic sell at bottoms. I told you I thought we could reach 114,000, but I told you we might turn off of this trend line, and I've changed my mind because, again, I'm looking at my indicators. The correction has likely already started. I think the evidence is now presented itself that causes me to change my mind. Now again, the bears telling us we're going to collapse into the bear market here, and this is the same stuff they were saying down over here at the bottom, saying it all the way up, all 50% of the way up. So again, I still think we're just going to pull back, but then we'll go much higher. Long-term bullish on Bitcoin, short-term bearish, but I have changed my mind about reaching this trend line. My signals all begin to turn back to bullish. Correction has likely already begun here, and we're going sideways, as I've talked about, in an A, B, and likely the C move here is happening right here, right now. We're already in wave C, in my opinion. Now, that was the Bitcoin price history that we just looked at. This is, again, these different exchanges. They did get the 13 right at the top. I talked about this to be watching for it. I told you we had a shot at a 9 count in the weekly time frame. That got canceled out. This count is overriding that, and it's likely going to give us the bigger pullback now, like the 13 count did over here at the December top, like the 9 count did over here right after the day after the January peak. A shot at a divergence there. It didn't play out. We got rejection at the 61.8 fib. That's this line right here. The 61.8 Fibonacci extension from the previous advance. We got a rejection at that level. So let me adjust this line. I think it's this line right here that is likely now the neckline for the inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is what I think is likely taking place. I thought the herd and the moon boys, I thought their hopes would be dashed with the pullback. But then again, this is going to be another buying opportunity. They keep telling us, oh, you know, BlackRock's buying, Fidelity's buying, all these different big players and the whales. And again, these people want another bite of the apple. They want to buy Bitcoin at discount. So we're going to get this pullback and consolidate the advance. We rallied by 50% since I called that bottom. Predicted the new highs. I think you're going to get that pullback in all likelihood unless my signals all begin to turn back to bullish. Bitcoin now has a 4 of a 9 to the downside. Again, we got the 13, and after we got this lower high, we've now started a 1 of a 9 to the downside. We're up to bar 4 right here with this exchange. Again, we're likely already in the bigger correction I've been warning about, as I've been warning you in the last few videos. Bitcoin is currently down 1.36% with about 5 hours left in the trading session. Again, we're getting the 10, the red line there, crossing below the 20 now. Again, they could drop below the 50 very quickly if we start getting a drop. I think this is what's going to happen. Again, we could go as far back to the double bottom confirmation at 88,500 or the 61.8 Fibonacci at 87,000. RSI is moving back into the negative region. It was positive. Started going back and forth from negative to positive as we went sideways. Now it's negative. This is likely going to give us the bigger pullback in the right shoulder. The MACD is still in positive territory, but you're probably going to see it push into negative territory. It's right there. And again, this is probably going to give us the bigger pullback. Stochastic has lost a 50 level, forming its own divergence and then confirmation of a lower high. So again, the odds greatly favor that Bitcoin peaked over here on May 12th. Stock market peaking weeks later, just as it did in January. Bitcoin peaked, and then the stock market peaked weeks later in February. The same exact thing. So I think you're going to get this right shoulder and then turn back up. So we'll see what happens. The bears are in control at this point. The bullish count is less likely, the bullish count, which we would get one more push higher because this took too long. And this now looks like a corrective move where we have, let me just add some things and move some things here a little bit so you can see the, this looks like an ABC move. Again, a 5-leg push down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. I think you have an ABC here for the blue count B, and I think we're now in a wave C, and I think it's 1, 2, and I told you this is what I talked about, selling into that rally because I thought this count was likely in play. I told you I was exiting a swing move with the long position and flipping to short because I believe this count is likely in play. I think we completed wave 1 over here, and I think we're getting wave 2, and I think it's unfolding in 1. And I've marked the smaller row counts here just so you can kind of see what I'm thinking. I think we have 1, 2. I think that we're rallying back up. We're getting rejection at the 200 period and the 50. As the 50 crosses below it in the cloud, I think you've got 2. I think you're going to get 3, 4, and 5 here, and maybe 3 is bigger than I've marked right here. It could be much lower. If we see Bitcoin sharply lower, let me move it down here so you can kind of see if we're in the wave 3 of 3 right now, and then we get 4 and 5, and then come back up, and then get 4 or whatever. And again, what I think is going on, if my signals turn back to bullish, then this canceled out. But this is what I think is likely going on. And again, we're getting rejection at the cloud, the 200. Bitcoin's down about 1.5% at the moment. Lose the 200 and the 50 crosses below it, you're likely going to get a bigger pullback. So just notice that. Notice the 50s crossing below the 200. It's telling you, hey, we've been going sideways, but this cross right here probably means we're going to get the next leg down. MACD turned negative, and it's now trying to roll over. You're probably going to have the volatility. And like I said, by the time you watch this, or again, when the stock market closes a little while from now, shortly thereafter, you're probably going to see, you got a good chance of it, you're probably going to see the United States begin to strike Iran. And Bitcoin will probably move much lower with that. So I'm just telling you, again, things are bearish. You're getting warning signs here. Position myself, take advantage of that, But again, I've got people attacking me, telling me no way Bitcoin's going down and all the rest of it, as the herd always does. I've got a lot of bearish signals, but I've had mixed signals. But now I told you, as we take out the support zone in the 50 period, we can see more signals flip. Here, again, we've dropped below the ribbon. We got the sell signal a few days ago, and ours are red. The background has flipped to red. Again, we're likely going to get a bigger sell-off right here, right now, the bigger sell-off. And that's why I told you, I told you we had a shot at reaching 114,000. But we got a lower high, then we began to see this turn back down. I thought we'd end up getting a lower high. That's been proven correct now. You're going to get another lower high, as I said, and you're going to get a lower high, lower low scenario in all likelihood that's going to take Bitcoin lower. But good news, it's going to set up a higher low and then eventually go much higher. So I'm, again, short-term bearish, longer-term bullish. Again, I think my signals will end up being proven correct. I do have mixed signals still, though, because Bitcoin has gone sideways, so some of them still hanging in there. But again, the signals like right here, warning that, again, we've likely started the bigger pullback already. Trying to take out the 50 period in the daily time frame. We're also trying to take out the purple line right here. We've already taken out the orange line. Again, you take this level out, you're going to get a bigger dump. The orange line and the orange line and the purple line here act as support. The 50 period very close to this purple line, also acting as support. So again, you lose this level, you're going to get a bigger pullback. Remember, in the low 90,000 range, right? I think it's 91 to 93,000. We got that gap fill on Bitcoin futures. We're probably going to go back and fill that gap. You'll probably see Bitcoin again set this level up. We got this peak right at the top right here. I warned you about that at the time, that it could be a pullback or it could mark a top. We don't know. Oftentimes the signals mark tops and bottoms. Other times they just mark corrective moves, counter trends. And so far, I think it's marked a major top here. I've changed my opinion on reaching the 114,000. As you know, I'm now bearish and I am now short, and I now believe Bitcoin has already started the bigger pullback. Unless my signals change and all turn back to bullish, I think it's going to get the bigger pullback. We had bars try to flip to blue, but it couldn't stay that way, and now we're back to red bars. So I think you, again, are going to get something like this where we pull back and got the right shoulder. And likely the U.S. is going to enter this weekend, and probably by late Friday after the stock market closes, a little while from now, again, you're probably going to see Bitcoin end up going lower. I got person after person telling me, oh, no. Again, these are the same people that told us it was a breakout here. My signal's called the bottom. And then, again, this entire move, this reversal, I mean, absolutely incredible signals. They're going back and forth, showing we're going sideways. But now that we're seeing red, it's probably now getting a move from neutral going sideways to now bearish. We're losing the 200 period and the 50 period as they're getting a crossover in the 4-hour time frame. You're probably going to see the bars remain red and other signals turn bearish. We've had mixed signals because price has gone sideways. My signals tell me when price is going up, down, and sideways, and they've been saying sideways. That's why I've had mixed signals. But now we're seeing signals turn back to bearish on a lot of indicators, likely suggesting that we're starting that larger pullback. So I think the Bitcoin signal is turning bearish. I think it's suggesting we're likely going to see the United States enter the Israel-Iran conflict over the weekend here. I think it's going to happen after the closing bell on Friday, a few hours after that. The likelihood, unless they're not ready. If everything's ready to go, then they're probably going to go ahead and do it and try to get it done over the weekend for the stock market to close, not to rattle the markets. Will remain open, so it's probably going to end up turning lower in all likelihood. You can see clearly signals are bearish here and on many indicators. Here the cloud is right back to red. We rallied up, but we got rejection at the upper end of the cloud and turned back down. So again, I think that the cloud's going to remain red in all likelihood, but I'm getting all kinds of warning signs. And before the warning signs happened, I was still getting warning signs up here with this rally. Again, we had already turned bearish here. Had a lower high. So again, this is what I've been warning you about in the last couple of videos, why I have flipped short-term bullish to short-term bearish. I closed my long position and went short, which I talked to you about at the time, and I warned you I was going to do it before I did it. Got all kinds of signals warning that a bigger pullback has likely begun. So I've been warning you about, again, momentum had turned bearish, and then we again, dropped and flipped the cloud back to red here, tried to rally up, and these rallies have failed. So again, we're likely in the bigger pullback right now. I have some signals that are still hanging in there here. Momentum is bearish. The trend is still hanging in there. But again, you're likely going to see these holdouts probably turn bearish here over the weekend if we do see the United States enter into the conflict, which I think is highly probable. I think it's likely going to happen Friday evening after the stock market closes, or shortly thereafter the market closes. Wrong, but again, I have the guts to tell you what I think. I might do another Bitcoin video Saturday or Sunday if we start seeing some things happening. I'll try to do that if I can. I do have some other things going on, but I will try to do another video if I can over the weekend if we start seeing coin sharply sell off. Just warning you that that's likely going to be the case. Now, there's a very good chance the United States, after the stock market closes on Friday, is going to go forward and likely strike Iran. If they don't do it, they're still getting everything ready to do it. It's going to happen. This 2-week delay business is just a ploy to lull Iran into a false sense of security right before the U.S. strikes. They're likely going to strike. They're likely about to strike, and it's probably going to happen. Good chance on Friday after the market closes, a few hours from now, or not in the not too distant future. I think that they are likely going to do it, though, Friday. The IBIT ETF for Bitcoin get a bearish reversal of conditions. Thursday, we tried to rally up. We're now down on IBIT 0.61%. Rally back up, but it failed. Futures is trying to get a bearish reversal of conditions right here, right now. If I change the bars to reflect the trend, you see that we got red bars. We got red bars yesterday on IBIT. Right there with the Bitcoin ETF right here, IBIT tried to rally today to the 10 and 20 period moving average. It failed, and we're turning back down. So again, it really is the operation short, and markets close on Friday. Are they rattled on Monday and we get a bigger pullback for a few weeks? They're a relief rally. They go in and it ends. My guess, though, Bitcoin is in a bigger pullback right now, as I've said. And again, I've said that since after we got this lower high setting up, it failed. I told you we had the move fail, and I told you if we rally back up, and then when we did rally back up the day I made that video, I told you again, likely set up another lower high. We talked about all of this back when this was happening, that we've gone sideways too long, and I expected that this was going to happen, which it now is taking place. The IBIT ETF already got the bearish reversal of conditions. We're trying to get it with futures. We're having future contracts roll over, so there's just a little bit of discrepancy. They constantly roll over. But there's a good chance Bitcoin has volatility over the weekend if the United States does move forward, which I think that it is very likely that they will in just a few hours from now after the stock market closes.